Hello everybody and welcome to week 7 of Raz's Recaps. We're 2 weeks off of playoffs time, which means every series counts. And so I'm going to be moving to the first series of the previous week, which was in Wednesday. FPX against RNG in the cage in Beijing. The global audience right there weren't too happy about the fact that this set was played at 9.2, so the assassin threats were still possible. Doombi could pick up that Akali, but the matchup at the top side of the map between Gimgoon and Amazing J was fun to watch. Gimgoon was getting the best of him, but that was about the mid lane, Xiaohu and Karsa, limiting Doombi that mattered the most. That's where the gold lead came in to factor. And then this time around, Amazing J came into the team fight, swept 2 members out of the pit, FPX doubles down, and even though FPX ended up taking down Baron Buff, guess what? Guess who came back alive when he was able to come in at a flank? Xiaohu. Xiaohu was so influential in this series, this game in particular, that I don't know how they were able to limit him. The fact that the 2v2 in the mid lane matters so much early on in this game, you better believe that Doombi comes into the game ender in this series with the Sion pick. He has never been pushed out of lane on Sion in this series, had to face a new reality. Come into another gold deficit into a team fight, this is where your eyes once again shifts onto the Syndra, see what Xiaohu's doing, comes at a flank seemingly, so much damage into the back line. So the AD carry, Uzi was sitting comfortable, but it was LWX that had to be sweating. So hats off to FPX coming into the series with a victory over Invictus Gaming, but team fights was FPX we were looking for, and it was RNG that came out of Beijing high that day. I think Xiaohu gets MVP constantly on that one. I'm happy about that. And off this performance, unsurprisingly gets best of the rift in the mid lane. So congratulations to him to be able to be that sole carry and pick up a win for RNG. And for our next series, we have Sunni versus BLG. BLG's been riding that high, but this is where tough schedule starts coming into order. Sunni have been losing series after series. They're coming off a victory versus LGD. It didn't feel like it. And going up against ADD and Kuro, who are so sky high. Take a look at what ADD sets up for his team here. Amazing flank onto SMLZ, who is incredibly strong for himself, been able to farm up a menace, gets picked off instantly, and then the rest of the team loses out in the engage as Jin Zhao finds himself alongside Kuro at the back. Look at them kiting throughout the terrain. So if I'm looking at how BLG has been performing up until this point, they have been spot on. This was a slow series just because both of these teams coming into it have had the lowest bloodiness rate between both of them. I want your eyes to focus on this. This was earlier on in the game. This was ADD setting up a flank, getting a knockback into the Sleepy Trouble bubble. That was the second time that's happened this series. It feels like they've been practicing that one because it's very comfortable for them. So BLG looks so good, already feel pretty comfortable in their playoff spot, and after this series, I know that it's only getting better. So I want all your eyes to be focused on how those 2 Korean imports have been playing, and Jin Zhao, who was an honest Callista pick, finding himself on a flank position. This was a clean sweep, 2-0, and I'm only focused now a ways ahead. Next week for BLG, they're going up against RNG. Let's see how they take it. And now we go back to our match of the week. FPX going up against TOP. Doombi, not looking like he's jovial this time around. He's deadly serious because he's going up against the golden left hand of Knight. Knight has been spot on, picking up MVP after MVP, unsurprisingly. And now it's going to just be man versus man, 2v2 matchup. This time around, FPX going straight for the early game. And they put 369 behind early, so this was FPX getting that early advantage, but TOP bringing it on back. It feels like in both the series FPX has had this week, they've been losing out in team fights. XX with an excellent ultimate, being able to pick out that back line. And so for FPX, losing out. In fact, 369 later on in that game getting a solo kill where he was behind for the majority of it. Wonderful to be able to pick up that victory, and they take the series as well, back off of Knight's quirky pick, going on a 1-3-1. This team looks deadly. Team fight, macro, it's just insane to be able to see TOP performing, and they net themselves a first place spot in the LPL with that victory. And that does it for this week's Raz Recaps. You know how it goes. My player of the week, and you shouldn't be surprised about this, goes to RNG's Xiaohu. Xiaohu usually takes some time before he comes into playoff mode, but he's actually just getting into it. He's been a primary carry for the team, The team has recognized that. Cars is going straight through mid. I hope to see this playstyle going into playoff time because I don't want to see, once again, going to international events and we have the Uzi show. Put some faith in the man. Put him on LeBlanc, put him on Syndra. That's what he's currently doing and he's thriving on it. All right, I'll see you guys next week for week 8's Raz Recaps.